not have a job. Gandhi's job was working on behalf of the people. And Gandhi was able to live his beautiful life based upon the philanthropic generosity of people who believed in his ideals. So his home, his movements, his homegrown material and product, he was self-sustaining. He sold his own clothes that he was able to weave. But it wasn't like Walmart or massive distribution. Gandhi had to live. Beautiful art. I like the challenge. Had to do his thing with the assistance of others. The group that helped the Canon Leadership Program is this group right here. Sustainable Digital University Canon Strategic Alliance Partners. Canon Business Solution made a very generous donation to Arizona State University, a commitment for 10 years. And we are in the third of that 10-year commitment. And everything we do in this program, from the food to the shirt, to the guests that come by, to the resources to help the emerging projects, come from this most generous donation. And in their absence, let's give them some thanks. Let's give them some thanks. Right. When we think of leaders, the Mahatma does come to mind. When we think of leaders, civil rights folks, Duarte, sister in the army, Dr. King, A.S.U. Sundar, Abraham, Cesar Chavez. I don't know this sister right here. There's Gandhi on you in pre-presentation. When we think of leaders, we think of people that we know their name. When we think of leaders, as people come to mind from the history books, from recent and contemporary times, we know their name, we're familiar with their faces. But their beginning was humble. Their beginning began on perhaps a college campus. Their beginning perhaps began within organizations. Their beginnings were humble. Right now, you all are sitting in this wonderful auditorium. I'm not implying that you're humble. I know that you're profound and great. But you're beginning something that will undoubtedly one day be worthy of such this wall. Let's keep going. Keep going. All right. This is the overview. Okay, this is our September speaker, Mr. Tony D'Angelo. He will be joining us on September 26th. He'll be joining us on September 22nd, beginning at 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the turquoise room. You will receive an electronic RSVP for this. But Tony D'Angelo is a favorite among Canon participants. He will come down 2 times this year, once in September and once in January. He came down 2 times last year and had an outstanding response from the students. Mr. D'Angelo is a very high energy type person. He's very inspirational. He's going to challenge you. He's going to speak about vision, about action, about passion. He's sort of that motivational type leader that you may think of. One that when you sort of think about leaderships and conferences that you went to, and that high energy type person, this is very much Tony D'Angelo. He represents Collegiate Empowerment, a program that works with over 150 colleges and universities in the United States of America. He also does quite a bit of professional development for staff. He's an outstanding individual. He'll be joining us in September. Now we shift. This is important for you all to know as Canon participants. It's not all rah-rah. Okay? Tyler? It's not all get on your chair and pump it up. It's not going to be all that. There are times where we're going to be inspirational and speak to you personally. But there are times where we're going to slow it down a bit and get more intellectually rooted. We're going to get more in terms of exposing you to the thinkers of our society. One such thinker, an author of over 10 books, is this gentleman here, Jonathan Kozo. Anybody heard of him? Other than the facilitator. Students, some of his reading will be a part of your curriculum, certainly as you get into upper class division. But Mr. Kozo had a very odd experience while he was working in an urban core city, and he was trying to teach the poetry by Langston Hughes, and actually got fired from his job for teaching the poetry of a Harlem Renaissance poet. And at that point, he became deeply concerned about the inequity in education across various countries, cities, and communities. He spent the rest of his life being an educator October 20th, 4 to 5:30 in the Memorial Youth. This gentleman here will be our November speaker. Anyone heard of Project Cure? All right, excellent. Y'all have respect for that program? Project Cure is the ideal of one human being connected with philanthropy, people who want to support the ideal, who have simply an ideal probably conceived who knows where, but now is an international company that is trying to support, grow the infrastructure for medical care to countries and communities all throughout the world. The director is Dr. Douglas Jackson. He's going to join us on November 3rd in a partnership with Global Engagement. So your lineup for the fall: Tony D'Angelo, Jonathan Kozel, and Dr. Douglas Jackson. That will be the conclusion of the fall semester national lecturers. And then we will begin anew in the fall in January for a half-day retreat where Tony will come back and put us through a breakthrough exercise. In February, we're going to be working with the A. Wade Memorial Smith Lecture Series, and we're going to be bringing down a public intellectual that deals with some aspect of identity, some issue where it's sort of a hot topic bed button item where there's some controversy around culture, race, sexual orientation, or something of the like. We are also working right now to bring down the director of Peace Corps. Anybody familiar with Peace Corps? As a part of Peace Corps Week, again, a partnership with Global Engagement, we're going to be bringing down the director of Peace Corps should everything work out, and that'll come in March. And then come April, we're going to go through a showcase where all of you who are part of your Emerging Leaders Project will showcase and tell ASU what you achieved, what you accomplished, and how the process benefited you in your growth and development towards leadership. The Emerging Leaders Project, all those facilitators talked about, I just want to put this into context. Right now, these programs don't exist. Erica, right now, these programs have never been manifested at Arizona State University. All the 20-some projects we did last year didn't exist in August of that previous semester. But after having went through the program, 20 new things were introduced to this beautiful campus. And so I want to just kind of let you marinate on this, everyone. Come April of 2010, this will exist. This will exist. And it will exist because of the sweat, the thought, the coordination, the development, the focus, the tenacity, the do-itness, if that's a word, of you. And that's the power of the Canon Leadership Program. It's not passively theoretical. It is theoretical, conceptual, but then it's roll your sleeves up, put on your old shirt, and get your hands dirty. Because leadership, for it to be effective, for it to impact people's lives, not only your own, at some point is going to require you to jump in. And so these Emerging Leaders Projects are your invitation for you to jump in. And come April 2010, ASU will be that much more better for the work that each and every one of you will do. All right. So are there questions? We got to go back to ours.
Well, does Cam give us some sort of budget?
Get Ari's email. I already need to be on my work. Yes, your work group facilitator leaders, the staff members around the room here, they have a budget allocation to bring to life. In some cases, depending on how profound the ideas are, it may just be seed money, right? For some, it may cover the entire cost of the concept, of the ideal, of the project. But for those projects that exceed, well, that's a wonderful training opportunity. In fact, I'll give you a little hint. If you all are good at fundraising, you will forever be employed. So yes, there are some budding resources. I saw a hand over here. Yes. Hey, all right. CLP 2 in the house.